I'm a massive fan of Survivor. I've been watching the show for over 15 years now. I showed up for the game, I stuck around for the wacky hijinks, and ultimately have made a living just talking about all of it every week for the past 8 years now. Not to get too sappy, but Survivor has allowed me to find my way in this world, and I don't know where I'd be today without it. And for that, I raise a coconut and say, cheers. Now, wasn't that wholesome? Internet, come on, off the cuff, that was pretty wholesome. And I do mean it. I'm very thankful that I get to do this each week, but also it is whatever you want it to be. Perhaps it's just another goofy video about random Survivor moments on YouTube for you. That's it. And hey, I'm happy to provide. I have been touched by many a moment over these past 15 years, and while I don't think I've ever cried, there have been moments that have made me come close. Truth be told, I can be jaded too and cold at times, despite how my YouTube voice comes off, and it's nice to have the moments in this video to just, refuel my heart every so often. So here are 5 of the most wholesome moments to me in Survivor. Also, I gotta say this at the top of the video, let me know which moments you find wholesome and just make you happy. First up, I have a quick one that happens at the end of an episode in the middle of season 40, Winners at War. It's always stuck with me for whatever reason, and I'm glad that I get a chance to highlight it. It's in the family visit episode where every winner gets their loved ones to fly out to Fiji and hug them and hold them. It's a touching episode, but for me, my favorite moment is actually at the end when it's over, when the episode's over. It's when the entire cast rushes over to Jeff and thanks him by giving him a big group hug. Normally players only get one loved one to visit them, and that's only if they make it to a certain point later in the season. But this season went big and handled it differently. Everyone got multiple family members, and the appreciation that the players gave to Jeff was a really nice final touch to an overall heartwarming episode.
I love you!
Hey, Bruce. Thank you. You meant so much to us. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. That was a thank you to you guys.
The next moment comes from season 33, Millennials versus Generation X, and it's really just the best scene of a season that exemplifies why themes on Survivor can actually lead to great conversation. A lot of times these titles, A Generation War on Survivor, come off as forced and hokey, and they definitely did this season, especially from Jeff, but the scene between Zeke and Brett is one of my favorites. A millennial and a Gen Xer go on a reward, share a meal and a drink, and open up about their lives back home and how it's led to them being who they are today. The whole scene is touching, it feels earned, and it's just another moment that's always stuck with me over the years.
As I get older, you start to learn who you really are, and you start to not care what people think.
Well, I will tell you, you're not the only gay guy out here.
You?
I'm playing a game, yeah.
It's fine, dude.
I didn't grow up in a time when it was normal to talk about being gay, and the millennials do not care. Zeke finds comfort in being himself, and I think that's great.
I've lived with not saying anything, so for me to come out here and not say anything,
It's life.
I've lived like that.
He spent time in the military during the Don't Ask, Don't Tell era where he couldn't have been in the military if he told people he was gay. I'm excited that now Brett is getting a chance to reap the rewards of what he has sowed.
Now, I feel like we've got a lot of rewards that we could be talking about over the many years where the players go to a local village in whatever locations they're at and do something cool for the locals. And while I could just include literally all of them and just make this a clip show because, who's to say one is overall the best? Well, maybe I will. I do want to make mention of a particular moment from season 28, Kagian, with Wu, when he goes to a village and he just puts on a baller show. The guy performs for the local school children and gets them to just have a good time. He shows how fun and great he is with kids. I've always been a big Wu fan ever since his first season, and even though I sometimes dunk on him for, making the worst move in Survivor history by cutting cast, I don't really care at the end of the day. It's moments like these with him at this village that makes me root for him regardless. And then you got Spencer, the dork in the background, just bewildered at the sight of children.
The moment we come out is just mob deep of all these beautiful young people. Yes. Something very humbling that I'll just hold and possess in my heart for the rest of my life.
Who likes the basketball? I need one volunteer. Spencer, please. All right.
Beat me up.
Okay. You think he can take the ball from me? Oh, good job, good job. See how stoked those kids were? That was awesome.
How were the kids?
Man, the kids loving
Wu was
us.
an entertainer. Wu was like making all these kids laugh. He was like entertaining hundreds of kids.
The first season that got me to fall in love with the show was season 18 Tocantins, and I will never forget the entire experience of watching Taj and her husband Eddie George trek the sand dunes of the Brazilian highlands and just see him be in total awe of how badass she is surviving out in the wilds. First, we get to the auction where Taj nearly rips Jeff's arm off when she realizes that her husband is on location. Then she gets to give the entire tribe a moment with their loved ones back at camp, which produces even funnier moments. And as a reward for being so selfless, she gets to hang with her husband all day on her own in private, away from everyone else. And well, of course, the camera crew's there too. Taj and Eddie are such a funny duo, and yeah, this segment is up there.
See you back at the camp.
There's one line on there, might have been a little hard to hear. There's one line.
See you back at the camp! Oh my God! Oh, can we go now?
But everyone can have a loved one back at camp if you're willing to make a sacrifice. You will instead send yourself to Exile Island, where Eddie will come with you.
If you were to say, you can have filet mignon, or you can see your assistant coach for 10 minutes, I'd say, I'm gonna see my assistant coach. Yeah. Now push slowly forward.
She looks great. I mean, she looks happy. But it's something about the wild, you know, that makes her sexy, you know? It's kind of eternal, you know? This is I.
He is the love of my life, so it was just like the skies just parted, the sun came out. I just, nothing else hurt after that.
I said I wasn't ranking these moments, but damn it, it's tough to ignore just how wholesome this moment is and not consider saying that it's the peak. From season 3, Africa, this is the reward trip that Ethan and Lex go on, where they provide goats to a small village and then just get to hang out with the locals. Ethan eats some fries and gets diarrhea, he sells his hat and the shirt off his back, but by far and away, the best moment is when he plays hacky sack with the kids. And for a bit of context, every Survivor player is allowed to bring 1 to 2 items with them into the game, known as a luxury item. And Ethan's was a hacky sack. He brought it to the village and kicked it around with the kids and ended up giving one of them the hacky sack on his way out. And to make this moment just a little bit more touching, going beyond the show, this experience that he went on would eventually inspire him to create his organization called Grassroots Soccer, a nonprofit organization that uses soccer to help young people live healthier lives. I think there's a chance that Ethan is the most positively portrayed winner in Survivor history for good reason, and that's in no small part due to moments like this, and I absolutely had to include it in this video.
The whole point of the trip was for us to take 2 goats into this village and be able to trade or barter them for money so we could buy some goods.
The town ended up being named Wamba. It was a small little village, maybe 1 street with stores on it.
We already had a crowd of the locals, you know, watching 2 very out-of-place guys chucking goats out of huge trucks.
I was panicked. I had no idea what to do. We just started shopping them around. I got a soda, and Lex got a beer.
Thank you very much.
And it was cold, and it was crisp.
Cheers. Thank you for the trip.
This is the best French fries I've ever had in my life. For even just 2 hours, I was a little bit part of their life and see how things work. I brought this hacky sack as my luxury item, and like, what, when am I going to use this? And so then we just started, kicking it around and playing. The smiles on their faces were, amazing, and I think I made their day. And then as we were leaving, I threw it to one of the little ones, and I gave him my hacky sack, and he's like, oh, thank you. It was a day I will never, ever forget, like, for the rest of my life.
And that's it. Those are 5 of the most wholesome moments in Survivor history. And of course, there are a lot more moments out there, but for this video, I just wanted to focus on some of my personal favorites. And I asked this at the top of the video, but I want to know from you, what are some of your favorite wholesome moments on the show? What resonates with you? A big thank you to my patrons for helping me fill my heart each month. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to look at the cup half full every now and then, and I will see you in the next one. Once I go get a tissue. It's allergies.
I'll be the first to say that I don't even really like kids.
There you are. There you go. You share, okay?
It was a little overwhelming having all these little monsters swarming me.
I would have been like, get out the way. I want to eat.
I get recognized by people that are like tourists and little kids.
What do you think it is about kids?
I mean, I wear pigtails and a flowered bathing suit, and I'm like, don't tell me what to do.
Do you like kids?
No, I actually hate kids.
Courtney, you are real.